So hey, how you doing? So this is Mark from the Six Shop. So I'm gonna do a little bit of reading of the Silmarillion, and I wanted to make sure that I just jumped on pretty much on time to try to really keep these up and do them on time as I said I was gonna do. And so some of the things that I'm working on is I wanted to, for the whole Cyber Weekend, kind of release some of the videos that I had in the members section. So some of those videos, I'm going to have them up. I might make some of them private again, maybe Monday or sometime next week. And one of them, like The Hobbit, I originally was thinking about retweaking it and re-releasing it. Not sure what I'm going to do with that one. But that one definitely, I'm going to take that kind of like off the map probably sometime next week or Monday. And for the future, I'm not really sure what other things I'm going to really work on. I have many different ideas, and I just need to find the time to really sort of like do them. And I think outside of that, I have a couple other videos that I'm probably going to release sort of like on track with the I think with what's going on with the actor strike. I think I did like one video on that. And let me go ahead and jump into the Silmarillion or the Silmarillion. So let's see where we're at. So I think I finished, the last time I finished one whole section, and I think I had started in the Valaquenta. And let's see, so I got into the Valaquenta, and I was in the Valaquenta. How far did we get? So let me see, where did we stop? And I'm not really sure where we stop. And for those who are watching on the replay, most of you are going to watch it on the replay. So, basically what I said at the beginning was I was just talking a little bit about the channel and some of the things I was doing on the channel. And last time we had started the Valaquenta, and now I'm just going to continue the Valaquenta. Let's see. And so finished the Lindale, or I knew Lindale last time. Let's see, I started the Valaquenta, and I got a little bit into the section, but I think just to be safe, let's just go ahead and, because I didn't annotate where I stopped. So, let's see. I'll just go ahead and punch in. So, I think I'm in the second page. So, Ulmo is the Lord of Waters. He is alone. He dwells nowhere along, but moves as he will in all the deep waters about the earth or under the earth. He is next in might to Manwë, and before Valinor was made, he was closest to him in friendship. For thereafter he went seldom to the councils of the Valar, unless great matters were in debate. For he kept all Arda in thought, and he has no need of any resting place. Moreover, he does not love to walk upon land, and will seldom clothe himself in a body after the manner of his peers. If the children of Eru beheld him, they were filled with a great dread, for the rising of the king of the sea was terrible as a mounting wave that strides to the land with dark helm, foam crested, and raiment of mail shimmering from silver down into the shadows of the green. The trumpets of Manwë are loud, but Olmo's voice is deep as the deeps of the ocean, which he only has seen. Okay, so which he only has seen, excuse me. So, nonetheless, Olmo loves both elves and men, and never abandoned them, not even when they lay under the wrath of the Valar. At times he will come unseen to the shores of Middle-earth, or pass far inland up firths of the sea, and there make music upon his great horns, the Ulumuri, that are wrought of white shell, and those to whom that music comes hear it ever after in their hearts. And longing for the sea never leaves them again, but mostly Olmo speaks to those who dwell in Middle-earth with voices that are heard only as the music of water. For all seas, lakes, rivers, fountains, and springs are in his government, so that the elves say that the spirit of Olmo runs in all the veins of the world. Thus news comes to Olmo even in the deeps of all the needs and griefs of Arda, which otherwise would be hidden from Manwë. Aule has might little less than Olmo. His lordship is over all the substances which Arda is made. In the beginning he wrought much in fellowship with Manwë and Olmo, and the fashioning of all lands was his labor. He is a smith and a master of all crafts, and he delights in the works of skill, however small, as much as the mighty building of old. His are the gems that lie deep in the earth, and the gold that is fair in the land, no less than the walls of the mountains and the basins of the sea. The Noldor learned most of him, and he was ever their friend. Melkor was jealous of him, for Aule was most like himself in thought and powers, and there was long strife between them, in which Melkor ever marred or undid the works of Aule, and Aule grew weary in repairing the tumults and disorders of Melkor. Both also desired to make things of their own that should be new and unthought of by others, and delighted in the praise of their skill, but Aule remained faithful to Eru and submitted all that he did to his will, and he did not envy the works of others, but sought and gave counsel, whereas Melkor spent his spirit in envy and hate, until at last he could make nothing save in mockery of the thought of others, and all their works he destroyed if he could. The spouse of Aule is Yavanna, the giver of fruits. She is the lover of all things that grow in the earth, and all their countless forms she holds in her mind, from the trees like towers in forests long ago, to the moss upon stones, or the small and secret things in the mold. In reverence, Yavanna is next to Varda among the queens of the Valar. In the form of a woman she is tall and robed in green, but at times she takes other shapes. Some there are who have seen her standing like a tree under heaven, crowned with the sun, and from all its branches there spilled a golden dew upon the barren earth, and it grew green with corn. But the roots of the tree were in the waters of Olmo, and the winds of Manwë spoke in its leaves. Kementari, queen of the earth, she is her named in the Eldarin tongue. Excuse me. So the Fianturi, masters of spirits, are brethren, and they are called most often Mandos and Lorien. Yet there are rightly the names of the places of their dwelling, and their true names are Namo and Irmo. Namo the elder dwells in Mandos, which is westward in Valinor. He is the keeper of the houses of the dead, and the summoner of the spirits of the slain. He forgets nothing, and he knows all things that shall be, save only those that lie still in the freedom of Iluvatar. He is the doomsman of the Valar, but he pronounces his dooms and his judgments only at the bidding of Manwë. Vaire the Weaver is his spouse, who weaves all things that have ever been in time into her storied webs, in the halls of Mandos that ever widen as the ages pass are clothed with them. Ermol the Younger is the master of visions and dreams, and Lorien are his gardens in the land of the Valar. And these are the fairest of all the places in the world, filled with many spirits. Este, the gentle healer of hurts and of weariness, is his spouse. Gray is her raiment, and rest is her gift. She walks not by day, but sleeps upon an island in a tree-shadowed lake of Lorelin. From the fountains of Ermo and Este, all those who dwell in Valinor draw refreshment, and often the Valar come themselves to Lorien, and there find repose and easing of the burden of Arda. Mightier than Este is Nienna, sister of Fianturi. She dwells alone. She is acquainted with grief and mourns for every wound that Arda has suffered in the marring of Melkor. So great was her sorrow as the music unfolded, that her song turned to lamentation long before its end. And the sound of mourning was woven into the themes of the world before it began. But she does not weep for herself, and those who hearken to her learn pity and endurance and hope. Her halls are west of west, upon the borders of the world. And she comes seldom to the city of Valimar, where all is glad. She goes rather to the halls of Mandos, which are near to her own, and all those who wait in Mandos cry to her, for she brings strength to the spirit and turns sorrow to wisdom. The windows of her house look outward from the walls of the world. Greatest in strength and deeds of prowess is Tulkas, whose surname Astaldo the Valiant. He came last to Arda to aid the Valar in the first battles with Melkor. He delights in wrestling and in contests of strength, and he rides no steed, for he can outrun all things that go on feet, and he is tireless. His hair and beard are golden, and his flesh ruddy. His weapons are his hands. He has little heed for either the past or the future, and is of no avail as a counselor, but is a hearty friend. His spouse is Nessa, the sister of Orome, and she also is lithe and fleet-footed. Deer she loves, and they follow her train wherever she goes in the wild, but she can outrun them, swift as an arrow with the wind in her hair. And in dancing she delights, and she dances in Valimar on lawns of never-fading green. Orome is a mighty lord. He is less strong than Tulkas. He is more dreadful in anger, whereas Tulkas laughs ever, in sport or in war, and even in the face of Melkor he laughed in battles before the elves were born. Orome loved the lands of Middle-earth, and he left them unwillingly and came last to Valinor. And often of old he passed back over the mountains and returned with his hosts to the hills and the plains. He is a hunter of monsters and fell beasts, and he delights in horses and hounds, and all trees he loves, for which reason he is called Alderon, and by the Sindar Tauron, the Lord of Force. Nahar is the name of his horse, white in the sun and shining silver at night. The Valaroma is the name of his great horn, the sound of which is like the upgoing of the sun in scarlet, or the sheer lightning cleaving the clouds. Above all the horns of his host, it was heard in the woods that Yavanna brought forth in Valinor. For there Orome would train his folk and his beasts for the purpose of the evil creatures of Melkor. The spouse of Orome is Vanna the Ever-Young. She is the younger sister of Yavanna. All flowers spring as she passes, and open if she glances upon them, and all birds sing at her coming. And with that, I'll leave it there. For all of those who are going to watch on a repeat, thanks so much. Like, subscribe, share. Later.